What's up guys, it's Patrick from Purple Park Studios here today with another tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to focus on character modeling. It's really fun. It can be tricky, but I think I have a pretty simple solution so that even if you're just starting out you can still model a pretty cool character here. So first we're going to delete everything in the scene, hitting A and then X to delete. And then we're just going to add in a cube. I used to be one of those people that would leave the default cube in there, but now I don't know, it's just a habit, I delete it, but whatever. So we're going to use this cube to model our character. Now the first thing we're going to want to do is apply a subdivision modifier. And just tap into edit mode here. Now there's a few different things you can do here, and there's a few different ways of going about this. There is a really good tutorial by Fruit Zeus on YouTube. I'll link it here in the comments. And I'm doing stuff a little differently than the way he does it, but I really liked his method for modeling characters. It's pretty cool. So definitely check that out. He's got a lot of cool tutorials. But this is just the way I'm going to be doing it here today. So tap into face select mode by hitting 3 on the keypad. And I'm sorry, on the keyboard, and then just hit I to insert there. Tap into front view, and E and then Z to extrude down on the Z axis. And then we're just going to do that one more time, E and Z. This time we can scale out a little bit. Let me redo that, Control C there. Scale out a little bit here. And then E, Z, and just scale down there like that. Now I'm going to be modeling a boy character here, so his body is going to be a little bit shorter. I'm going for the kind of, I don't know, Pixar, DreamWorks, I guess if you will, kind of style. Not quite, but similar to that. So then the next thing we're going to want to do here is, at this point you can go ahead and shade smooth. Go down to normals and auto smooth that. At this point you can actually apply this modifier, but make sure you do it with only one subdivision there. So I'm going to hit apply there and tap back into edit mode, and now you can see I have a little bit more geometry to work with here. So we're going to just pull these legs out quick by going into front pad and then E, Z down. I just said front pad, I know. Z and then SZ0 to flatten that out. And I also want to just move this over just a little bit there like that. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing for this side. Z roughly about the same spot, and then SZ0. And you might want to just pull that down a little. Oh, sorry. Just want to pull this one down a little bit more to match that there. And then again, just move that out a little bit on the x-axis. And it's a good idea to always save your project. So this is looking obviously pretty bad right now, but it's where we got to start it, you know. So next we're going to just pull these arms out here. So you can select that face there, and then shift select this face over here. And then Alt-E will extrude faces along normals. And you just want to extrude that out there. And then maybe grab this guy, go into side view here, and just kind of pull them forward a little bit. And then you can tap into left view here. And maybe pull that one out a little bit too. And then maybe go ahead and pull these down. Let's see, we're going to want to rotate. Oop, go into front view there. Just kind of rotate this back into the right shape. And maybe go ahead and scale this in a little bit there as well. And we would just want to do the same thing What I should have done was actually done this one first, then done a mirror modifier and but whatever, it doesn't matter. I stopped using the mirror modifier because I just found that, I don't know, I don't like everything to be so symmetrical when it comes to characters. Like I like a little bit of like variation. It just, I don't know, it's just, maybe I'm weird, but it's just what I like. And tap into 3 on the numpad to go to side view there, and then maybe just go back into front view and just scale that down to kind of match roughly there. Okay, so now we have, you know, a rough, I guess you could say, outline of our character. We're going to go ahead and just roughly model some feet here real quick. So go down to the bottom, select these faces here, and maybe we'll just, well, first let's just scale these in just a little bit, kind of match them up there. And then we can grab both of the faces, go into side mode, and then hit E and then Z to extrude down. And then maybe go grab these front faces here, E, Y to extrude out. And go into side view. And if you want, you can just, you know, scale these in a little bit there on the front. Now we're going to be adding another subdivision modifier in a little bit, so it's not going to look, you know, so blocky and everything, and things will start to look more rounded. But what I like to do is I just like to get as much of the character's like base shape as I can before I apply more modifiers, with the exception of just applying that one that we applied, just so we have a little bit more geometry to work with. Like for example, maybe now I'm noticing his neck might be a little small, so I'm going to tap 2 and then Alt and select that edge loop there, and maybe just scale this in here, just not too much. I mean, I kind of like him having a thicker neck though. It's really up to you, you know, it's your character. So actually I'm going to undo that because I like his neck like that better. So, and I save a lot, so which is important because, you know, Blender can crash. But okay, so now we're gonna want to attach some hands to this guy, and what we're gonna do here is face select these and X to delete them, delete the faces. And we're going to model some hands separately and then attach them to the character. So I was tempted to just not really do hands for this tutorial, but I think that it's important for the character to have fingers. Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do is we can hide our character here, and we're going to add in a cube. And let's give this a subdivision surface of 1, and go ahead and apply that. Now we can squash this down a little bit and then tap into edit mode. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit 2 to get into edit select mode, and then Alt right click to select that loop and just go into front view and then scale that down just a little bit like that. Second thing I'm going to do is, this is going to be the back of the hand, I'm going to actually delete all of these faces here. X, delete faces. And then go into vertex mode by hitting 1, and vertex mode, whatever. Grab both of these vertices here, hit 1 to go back into front view, and just pull this back a little bit like that. And then we might want to do the same thing for the top and bottom middle vertices. Hit 1, pull those back roughly to about there. And that's just, I don't know, I just like to work like that. I'm going to save and then go back. Well, we don't need to go back into object mode. It's like a habit, like hitting object mode, edit mode, object mode, tab, tab, tab. Okay, anyway. So now the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to add a loop cut here, and I'm going to add a loop cut here. And then I'm going to go into face select mode and select each of these faces, and then go into top view by hitting 7, Alt E, extrude individual faces, and then hit Y to scale along the Y. I'm sorry, hit X to scale along the X axis. And just pull those out like that. And that looks terrible. So I'm just going to go ahead and move some of these over like that there. Okay. Now, maybe we can scale some of these down a little bit too, because fingers aren't all the same size. Maybe pull that one out just a little bit farther, because that's our middle finger there. We push this one in just a little bit. You know, I'm actually going to pull these out a little bit farther and scale them back up a little bit. And then scale this one way down because that's our pinky. Okay, so that is not looking too good. Don't worry, we're going to fix all this stuff here in a second. Hit 3 for face select, and then SX0, 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 SX0. Okay, and we're almost ready to apply this and attach it to the hand. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead because I think we'll wait to do the fingernails until we have the hand attached. Alright, so bring your character back in here, and we're going to just kind of line this up. Go into top view, you can line it up there, and scale that down. Just line it up here. We got to fix this arm in a second here, but we'll go into front view, bring that there. Now I'm going to make the hands a little bit smaller because, you know, his hands are naturally going to be smaller. So we just want to make sure everything's like roughly lined up into place here. Okay, so we have our hand in place here. If we select our character and go into edit mode, we can see that there's only 4 vertices here. And it's just going to be really ugly if we just try and join these together like this, because this one over here has, I think it's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12. So we're going to select our character, go back into edit mode, and we're going to make sure that this arm here also has 12 vertices. So just add in some loop cuts here. I think this has 13. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, no, it has 12, sorry. I'm losing it. Alright, so now we're going to hope this works. Select the hand first. It's important to select the hand first, and then Shift select your character and Control J. Now you can see when we go into edit mode that these are all one object, but obviously hands are attached to bodies. So hit 2 to go into Edge Select mode, and Alt left click to select that. Shift Alt left click to select this loop here, and then right click Bridge Edge Loops. And as you can see, it doesn't look all that great. We have some weird, I guess we don't have any triangles, but it looks pretty bad. So we just want to clean this up a little bit here. We'll select Alt select this edge loop here and scale that down a little bit, and some weird stuff going on here with this. Let's go into top view and just X-ray mode, select these, and just scale the whole thing down like that. And now that is looking a little better. Still not completely happy with it here. Let's go into vertex mode and just maybe pull that one up a little bit. Actually, Control Z that, go into X-ray mode, and then select all these vertices here. Pull that up like that. And that is looking a little bit better, but it still looks pretty crappy. So just shade smooth, make sure the normals are corrected. Yeah, we'll just do that for now. Okay, so now we can go into front view, tab, into edit mode, and then X-ray mode, and select all of those vertices, X, and delete them. And now if we go into our modifiers, we can add a mirror modifier and make sure clipping is checked. And you can see now that our mesh is connected and we have the hands on both sides. So we're going to want to go ahead and apply that modifier, and then, well, actually, you know what? Control Z that. Let's leave the modifier like this for now because it'll save us some work when we do the fingernails. So we'll leave the mirror modifier on for now. So now we're going to want to add another subdivision surface modifier to our mesh. And you can see that this is already looking a lot smoother, but we're going to go ahead and bump that up to 2 in the levels view. You could even go as high as 3 if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it at 2 for now. Go into top view and we'll go over to the hands and we're going to work on the fingernails. So tap into edit mode, add a loop cut in here and just bring this up to right about where the fingernail might be, wherever you'd like that on your character. I'm just going to kind of eye this up here. Control R for the loop cuts. And we forgot to add the thumb, but that's okay because we'll do that now. So 3, face select that, and you can click this button over here on the subdivision just to give it a little bit cleaner of a work area. And then I'm going to do E, Y. Just pull that out like that and scale that down. Control R to add in a loop cut. And there we go. So this is looking better. We can kind of face select some of these in here and maybe just, you could widen up the fingers if you wanted to, if you want to make them fatter, if you want your character to have fatter fingers, which I kind of want my character to have a little bit fatter of fingers here. But actually undo those because we need to do this the right way. Make sure you do it from top view so you get a nice even, and you might need to do it on both sides just to kind of fatten these up here so it's not looking so like stretched one way. Pull this out here a little bit. And we could go into side view here and face select some of the front of these and SX0. We already did that. It's looking a little weird to me. Maybe it needs rotated, like, let's see here. Looks like it needs to be rotated that way or something on the Z axis. SZ0? No, we don't want that. I don't know. Whatever. I'll leave it for now. Doesn't matter. It's not a hand modeling tutorial. So we'll save that here, and then we're going to get to work on these fingernails. Alright, so now it's time to do the fingernails. So we will go into edit mode, I to inset, E, Z down, just to extrude that down, and then scale it out a little bit, E, Z back up, and scale that out just a little bit there, and you can go into front view to see, but you don't want your fingernails to be up too high, so that's way too high, so we'll bring that right down or something like that, and there you go, you have little fingernails. So I to inset, E, Z extrude down, and then E, Z extrude back up, and just scale that up again, and that is way too high. Go ahead and do those for all the fingernails there. Oops. You might want to scale those in a little bit before extruding them back up just so they're not clipping through the mesh there. Scale this one back up. The pinky looks so weird. Hopefully yours doesn't look as weird as mine. Well, that's horrible. Let's go back here. You just select this face here. That looking a little bit better. There we go. I think that looks better. Sorry, I'm going to undo that there. Set EZ down, scale inwards, EZ back up, and then scale outwards. And then you're just going to want to bring that back down a little bit so it's not so high there. You might need to scale it back up again a little bit more. Alrighty. That does look so strange. We'll live with that for now. It's not a hand modeling tutorial. I just want to try changing the normals to 90. Just see if that... Sometimes you can try changing the auto smooth. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 90. That just looks a lot better. And then we just gotta do one more for the thumb. Easy. Scale in, easy, back up. And this is like a really quick way of doing the fingernails. You could spend a lot more time on them. I'm not today for the purposes of this tutorial, but yeah. And although I feel like I am spending a lot of time on them. They don't even look that good. Oops. Down. Just get that thumb a little bit fatter. It was looking too skinny. It's too fat. Right, like look at this idiot. Alright. Oh, I don't like it. Whatever. Fuck it. We'll just leave it there. I don't care. That's so flat though. I can't do that. Maybe just that one face there. Okay. I can live with that. I'm living with that for now. And now since we kept our mirror modifier, you know, on, we have it on both sides. God, that pinky just looks so weird. Look at that pinky. Imagine if you had a pinky like that. It looks like a Gollum's pinky from like Lord of the Rings or something. I'm just gonna like round that out real quick because that's just gonna bug me. Oh god, that's terrible. That is just, look at that pinky. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. Let's go into X-ray mode. Just slide that over. It's like abnormally large. I'm just gonna try something real quick because like this is just gonna bug me. Just delete all of these here. No, maybe not that many. Just delete all these here. This. Okay, we might be onto something here. Oh god. I'm gonna pause this tutorial and fix my pinky. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back here in Blender 3.0, and as you can see, I've cleaned up, kind of fixed the pinky enough for this tutorial. Like, I could still keep on messing with it. Like, now I just want to pull this out a little bit like that. Okay, whatever. It's good enough for the tutorial, right? Like, this is just, we're not even gonna really be seeing this character's fingers that much. Like, he's just gonna be like a little cartoon character. He doesn't need to be that detailed. I mean, you could go really detailed with it. Like, if you want to spend a lot of time making these hands like nice, like go for it. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna move on. So, okay. I am going to just maybe scale some of these, left click and just scale some of these up here a little bit because I don't want his arms to be like too thin. So scale some of that up there, and that looks a little bit better. I might want to go into top view and just select some of these faces here and just maybe pull them up a little bit. Like that, just to make his arm a little bit thicker, and that looks fine. The only other thing we might want to do is just maybe fix this hand. I feel like it's too fat at the bottom here, and it should like go in a little bit here. Maybe it needs to come up a little on the top. And this part, you can. I wasn't planning to spend as much, this much time on these parts, but I don't know, why not? Bring that up like that, and then let's bring some of these faces up here. Just bring them up a little bit there. Get that looking like a little bit more natural. And now you'll see we'll need to scale this up here, so you can just scale that up there. You can see that is looking better. Still a lot more we could do. Like, you know, you could, like I said, you can spend as much time as you want on this part. I really probably should be moving on, but whatever. And we're going to leave it there because that's really good enough. Okay, so now we can, what I like to do at this point is just move my character up to the top here. And we're not going to change the origin point just yet. We're still going to leave it here. Well, actually, we'll set it, we will change it. We'll set origin to geometry. Oops, don't do that. We still have our mirror modifier applied, so we'll just leave everything the way it is for now. Go down into edit mode, and we can add in some loop cuts here on the feet. And face select, and maybe just pull these out just a little bit more here. Make his feet a little bit fatter there. Scale that in. All right. Now we are ready to kind of give them some pants and a shirt and some sleeves and stuff like that. And I'll show you how to do that all as one part of the mesh. So I just paused the tutorial for a second because if you're wondering why my feet, my character's feet looked different than they had previously, when I was fixing the pinky, I also did a little bit of touching up on my character. It's why his shape's a little different. If you go into edit mode and you go down to this the smoothing tool here, the smoothing tool will allow you to like select. You could select your entire mesh if you wanted to, or you could select like, you know, a group of vertices, and you basically, it allows you to smooth and shape you know, the mesh. So I was doing that while I was, you know, fixing the pinky, and I ended up, it messed up my feet. I didn't realize it, so that's why in that last part I was, you know, correcting the feet a little bit. So, you know, feel free to use that tool or to just, you know, manually move vertices around, you know, like this, using G or the arrows to kind of shape your character the way you want. But anyways, so now I've got him, you know, at a shape that I can live with here. I mean, still a little rough on these arms here. Maybe we'll just try the smooth tool here. Smooth that. Where did you? There we go. Smooth that out a little bit. All right, so that's a little bit better there. Okay. So now we still have our mirror modifier and then our subdivision. We're going to leave those there for now, and we're going to go and we'll start with making some shoes for him. So add a loop cut in here, maybe 2 of those, 1 at the knee. We'll get rid of those there. And then 2 Alt right mouse click and scale this in here. And get out of our smoothing tool. Scale that in there like that. Now we're going to do the same thing. Select this loop here and scale that in like that. Now we can go back to this one here and we'll just scale this out a little bit and add a loop cut in here. Scale that down and then push it down into the mesh. And then we'll go back, select this, and widen that up and just bring that up like that. We can scale it in a little bit there. So now you can see it looks like he's got a pair of shoes on. Kind of more like slippers, and you can, you could play with the shape until you get something that you're happy with. But I might just pull that in there like that. There we go. And this needs to come out a little bit like that. And this needs to go in just to get his feet a little more shape there. So something like that is not too bad. Alright, there we go. So now he's got some little feet, little slippers on his feet or whatever. So now we're going to want to make where his shirt maybe goes into his pants. So we can add a loop cut in here, bring it down to about there, and then just grab some of these edges here, just bring them down, or maybe just grab this front edge and bring that down to kind of get this as even as we can here, this loop, because we don't want anything like weird to happen when I'm gonna rotate that like that. So that's pretty good. Maybe just bring this one up in the back a little bit, and then rotate that a little bit, just to kind of smooth that out there. So then we can hit 2 and alt select this loop and scale it in like that. No, we don't want to do that, I'm sorry. We want to do the one we just were fixing. Scale this out like that. Give him a little bit more of a stomach there. And this one here, we can scale this one in, and then we'll add a loop cut. Oops, add a loop cut in here. Scale that one in, and then push that up like that, and scale it in a little bit more, and then push it. Or, I'm sorry. Let's undo that. Undo up to when we add it in the loop cut. So we don't go back that far. So scale that out there to the way you want it. Then alt select this one here. Scale that in a little bit. Add another loop cut in here. Scale it in. Or I'm sorry, scale it out. Select this one again. I'm sorry, it's so confusing. And then pull that up. And then select this loop cut here. Pull that one down. And scale it in a little bit. Now it kind of looks like he's got like a big baggy shirt on. Alright, so now we have, the bottom of his shirt, his like little slippers or shoes, and if you want to spend more time getting these to look like shoes, you can. I'm not going to waste more time doing it for this tutorial. We'll go up and we will make the top of his shirt. So add in a loop cut here, scale that in like that, scale it in pretty far, right about there maybe, and then push it down, and then we'll add in another loop cut here, scale that in, and pull it up, and then you can just scale it back out if you need to. You can make his shirt tighter or looser, it's all up to you. I'm gonna leave it like that, but I am gonna add in another loop cut here and just maybe face select some of these and bring it down a little bit in the front. And then we can go into side view, and I might just kind of bring his chest down a little bit here. And maybe want to grab some of these in the front and slide them in there. And this part's, all up to you. If you want your character, if you wanted to leave them like that, you sure can, but I just want to mess with some of these vertices here. Alright, So that's not too bad there. You know, if you want to give them a collar in the back, you can. You know, I'm not gonna for my character, but if you wanted to, you know, spend some time, you can do something like that. You know, you could give them a hood. You could really go anywhere with it, but we're just gonna leave it here for the tutorial. So now we're gonna go and make where his shirt ends. Now you can, you know, make him have a short sleeve shirt, or you can make him have a long sleeve shirt. We're just going to use that same process of adding in a loop cut and tucking the mesh in. I think I'm going to have him actually have a short sleeve shirt for this. So I'm going to add a loop cut in here and scale that down. Then add another loop cut right behind it. Go back and select this loop cut and push that into the mesh, and then I'll select my other loop cut, scale it out, and pull it over. Might need to move it down a little bit. Scale that up, RZ0, and then scale that in like that. And just kind of line it up. If you need to, you can make another loop cut in here, scale that one in, and push it into the mesh too. You just want to make it look like it's tucked in. You know, you don't want to have that. Looks pretty bad actually. It's like almost like reverse. So let's undo that, and then we'll make a loop cut in here again, and let's maybe rotate it, scale it in, rotate it a little bit more, and then scale it in even more, and we'll add that other loop cut here. This one we're going to rotate also, and then we'll scale this one up. Alt select that and push that one into the mesh there. Then we can grab our loop here and pull this one over and scale that down a little bit. And you could just play with the rotation and move it up or down until you get it where you want it. It's not looking too bad. I think it could come forward a little bit there. And yeah, there you go. He's got some t-shirts. Now the normals can get messed up doing this, so you might need to. You could always try edit mode, Shift A, or I'm sorry, object mode, or Shift A to select the mesh, Shift A, or I'm sorry, Shift N. What am I thinking? Shift N is to recalculate the normals. I mean, sometimes it'll work, sometimes you might just need to play with the smoothing. I'll go up to 180, and that just looks a little bit better to me. So, all right, there you go. And you know, you can mess with this more and make this even more detailed if you wanted to, but I'm going to leave it here for the sake of this tutorial. Okay, so now we can go on to getting some detail in the face and maybe shaping the head a little bit. We can go ahead and apply the mirror modifier. Make sure you do that first before the subdivision, or if you have them like switched, it'll just be bad. You'll get like some weird lines on your character. So I think what we're actually going to do is bump this down to 1 on the levels view in the render, and you're going to notice he doesn't look as smooth now. We're going to go ahead and apply this modifier with just that 1. So now he has a total of 2 subdivisions, because if you remember, we applied 1 subdivision earlier, and now we're going to apply it again with just 1. So we're going to apply that, and now if you go in here, you can see that he has some more geometry. Little rough there, but you can see he has more geometry for us to work with, which is what we want. But now we're going to add in that another subdivision surface with a smoothing of subdivision of 1. And that's just going to bring back that smoothness that we had and just allow things to work a little bit easier. So we can click that there. And now, see, just for the sake of demonstrating, if we took this off and we tried to like do some stuff like, I don't know, maybe, you know, his mouth or something, you know, we wanted to like inset that, it's all like square and blocky. So we'll undo those. But when we add in the subdivision surface modifier, and you could, if you wanted to, you could have a, you know, 2 if you want it to be super smooth. I'm just going to leave it at 3 because it doesn't have to be that high poly. I mean, he's going to be kind of high poly, but it doesn't have to be that high poly. I'll just leave it at, I'm sorry, 1, not 3. 1, and then now if we go back in with the subdivision surface modifier on, you can see that it's a much smoother outcome. Okay, so now we're ready to start working on his mouth here. So let's grab a couple of these faces here. Sorry, go into front view. Yep, that's go into front view. And we're going to inset by pressing I, and that'll allow you to inset, and then we can hit E and Y and just extrude that inward like that there. And then we can grab this vertex here, 1. If you want to make his nose up higher, you can, or if you want to make it lower, you can. I'm actually going to make his nose up right about here. And then hit Control-Shift-B, and that will allow you to bevel some geometry out of that vertex. And then you can just slide this forward here. That, and then you can play with the shape of his nose. You know, you can scale it in or out if you want to have a big nose or a little nose. I'm going to kind of keep him having a nose about like, maybe I'll make it a little bit smaller. Just like a small nose there. And then if you wanted to extrude out, you could hit EY, extrude out, give him a pointed nose, and bring it down. If you wanted to have a nose like that, or, you know, I'm probably just going to bring mine out a little and scale it down like that there. And maybe I do want to bump this up to a smoothing of 2. There, it just makes it look a little smoother. And scale that down. I'm actually going to bring this in a little. It's a little too pointy for me. Something like, let's see, let's select this here. Just see, I'm getting the shape that I want here. Something like that's not terrible. I might refine it later, but for the sake of the tutorial, we'll keep on moving. So now we're going to go back in and we're going to grab where we want his eyes to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hit I and inset these. And then I'm going to hit E and Y and just bring those back like that. Give him some sockets there for the eyeballs to go in. Alright, so now we'll make some eyebrows here. So we'll just select these faces here and Shift D, Y, and just move them out. And then we will tap into edit mode here. I'm sorry, we're in edit mode, I'm sorry, into vertex mode, and just Alt E, extrude faces along normals. And we'll just hit Y and move those back a little bit there, like that. And these are going to be the eyebrows. We actually might want to just drag those out a little bit thicker. And then hit L, or I'm sorry, go into face mode, and then just hit L on the keyboard, and then Shift L. Oop, I'm sorry, Shift, select that, and then Shift L again. What? Shift L. I don't know why it's not doing it for me there. Let me see. You can hit this up here to smooth things out. It just makes it easier to see stuff. So shift that, and then Shift L. I'm just going to manually select them. I don't know why it's not selecting those for me right now, but anyway. So with all that geometry selected, you're just going to push those back in like that, and those are going to be some eyebrows. And you can scale these up if you want. You can pull them up, make them a little bit thicker if you want your character to have some thicker eyebrows, which I kind of do here, and then just put them, you know, back into where you want them to go. I'm going to have mine up a little bit higher, and I might just scale these up a little bit more here. maybe make them a little bit thicker, or not. Something like that will be just fine. All right, I'm going to save my project here, and we could go ahead and make some ears, but I think that this character is going to be, the hair is going to be covering up his ears. So now we're going to go into making hair. And we're not going to do like a crazy hair simulation or anything like that. We're just going to, you know, make the hair part of the mesh. But there's some cool things we can do to get it to look pretty good. If you want to go ahead and, you know, play with the shape of his head, you can. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. I'm just going to go into edit mode here. And the only thing I might want to do is, I mean, you know, I'm actually happy with the shape of his head here. It's a tutorial. So let's go into face select mode, and we are going to, not scale that up. Let's make sure nothing's selected here. We are going to just select a bunch of faces wherever you want hair to be on your character's head. So just select all of the places that you want hair to be. So I don't quite want his hair to go down that far. Let's get rid of those. And this part's completely up to you. Like if you want your character to have super long hair, go for it. Whatever. I'll select these here. Yeah, so he'll have longer-ish hair, something like that. All right, that's not too bad there. So now we're going to do go into front view and then Shift D, and then scale that down just a little bit there, and right click, and you can go into wireframe mode, and we are going to do Alt E, extrude faces along normals, and that's just gonna, you can go out of wireframe mode, and that's gonna bring, you know, the hair out of the head like that. So obviously this doesn't look that great. We're gonna have to mess with it, but it's a start. Okay, so now that we have our hair, I've gone ahead and I just renamed my mesh to main mesh, and I'm gonna actually call this boy character up here. Boy character. And what we're going to do is, it's a good idea to make another collection and call it backup, and just select your model and Shift D, and then just right click, move to collection, backup, and that's going to put our backup duplicate version of our mesh into this folder, and then we can just go ahead and hit that checkbox and hide that from the viewport. So now we just have this. But this way, if we were to mess up on something, or we were to apply a modifier that we couldn't get, you know, our character back to make changes we wanted, we could revert to this backup, which is the same exact thing, but with leaving the modifiers unapplied. It's just always good to make a backup. Just do it. That was a horrible way to explain it, but all right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to separate the hair by selecting a face and then hitting L, and then P by selection, and then just make sure you unclick there and then go into the boy character collection and rename this to hair mesh. And this is just going to allow us to make changes to the hair without affecting, you know, the rest of the body. So like, for example, say we wanted to apply the subdivision surface modifier on the hair, but not the mesh. Now, when we go into the hair, we have some more geometry, and we can, you know, do something cool, like maybe make his hair like spiky or something like that. So, you know, I'm gonna pause the tutorial and kind of just work on his hair, since you can make your character's hair however you want, and then I will come back. Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the tutorial. So you can see here I just did some simple stuff to his hair, just, you know, basically pulling out some you know, faces and moving a couple vertices around. I actually decided to leave the subdivision surface modifier unapplied to work on the hair. It just gave me a smoother effect, and I just liked it better that way. I did experiment with applying the surf modifier first and then moving around vertices and stuff, and that was good for like more of a jagged, spiky look, which I ended up liking this version a little better. This is more along the lines of what I was going for. It's still a little shaggy, but it's a little more groomed-ish, if you will. So I just, I was gonna, mess around a little more on the hair, but then I had an idea, and I thought that maybe it would just be something we could, do together, because I think maybe, someone starting out might be able to learn something from this part. We can select the hair mesh and go to the modifiers, and we could try putting on a displacement modifier. Bam! Looks great, right? Yeah, right. All right, so we can go down into the textures, new, and add in a distorted noise texture. We go back up to our modifiers tab and turn the strength down. We can see that we get more of like a goopy, like it still looks pretty bad, but like we can mess with this more. If we go back to this little checkered tab down here, the textures tab, we can play even further with like the size and the amount of stuff. So like, maybe if you want to do something like that. I don't know, this part you can just play with, but whether or not I actually end up using this, I just wanted to show you, because I think it's a cool option. If you really mess with it long enough, you might be able to get something cool. You could change different stuff down here. You can even change it to like clouds for maybe more clumpier size, maybe, if you want to. You could probably animate some. You could use this to animate wind blowing through. It's actually kind of cool. I like that. Maybe I'll do something like something right there, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna take it off for now, because I don't feel like taking time to mess with it. But using the displacement modifier, you can definitely get some cool results without doing some crazy hair simulation. If you're just going for like that cartoony kind of look, like what I'm doing. So yeah, so you're pretty much done with modeling your simple character here. In part 2, I'm going to go over texturing and adding materials, as well as making some eyes and UV unwrapping the eyes and anything else that we need to UV unwrap. So the next one, the next tutorial, part 2 will be focused on UV unwrapping the eyes and making the eyes, adding material to the eyes, and then we'll start adding material to the character. It's important, do not apply this subdivision surface modifier, because if you do, first let me just save this here, I'll show you what will happen. You apply that and you're going to have a crap ton of vertices, and that's just going to be a pain in the butt when it comes to selecting different parts of this mesh to assign materials to. So let's undo that, Control Z. By leaving this here, if we go into edit mode, we have a lot less vertices to work with initially, and it's just going to make it easier for us to select parts of the mesh to assign materials to. But we'll get into all that then in the next tutorial. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you learned something. Feel free to comment on this tutorial if there's something I could be doing differently or better. I'm still learning too, so I just wanted to maybe help somebody else who's just starting, because I know how hard it can be especially when it comes to character modeling. So hope you like this tutorial. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in part 2.